A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
p.m., CULOVA, Bull of the Watch Time. WADC, New York.
Breakfast cereals to bring you one delicious flavor in two delicious forms present the Kate Smith Hour.
Good evening. Ted Collins welcoming you to our radio playhouse here in New York's Gay White Way, where we're just starting our big year-end party. Tonight you'll hear
the Kate Smith Singers with Ted Strater, Jack Miller's Band, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, and the air premiere of the new 20th Century Fox Technicolor classic, Swanee River, with Don Amici, Nancy Kelly, and Al Jolson. Music by David Brookman. Entire radio production under the direction of Ted Collins.
And now your host, radio's most beloved personality, Kate Smith.
Hello, everybody. It's movie night again on our show. Swanee River night, to be exact. So let's start it off with a salute to Swanee.
Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. I give the world to be among the folks in the I even though my mammy's waiting for me, praying for me down by the Swanee. The folks up north will see me no more when I go to the Swanee shore. Down by the Swanee, the folks up north will see me no more when I go to that Swanee
premiere of one of the most important productions of the new motion picture season, Swanee River, based on the life of Stephen Fox. Appearing in Swanee River are three of Hollywood's most popular stars who have come to New York to be with us. Don Amici, Nancy Kelly, and Al Jolson.
That lovely music, folks? Well, this is Al Jolson telling you that it's some of the sweetest music in the world. Back in the old minstrel days, they had a word for that kind of music. They called it the real Oscar Missoula. And that's what made Stephen Foster so great, because he wrote the kind of songs everybody could sing. The kind of songs you find yourself whistling when you're walking down the street. The kind that people start singing whenever 2 or 3 of them gang around a piano. You know, something like, oh, the camptown ladies sing this song. The camp track race that 5 miles long. I come down with my hat caved in. I go back with a pocket full of 10. Wind to run all night, wind to run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail nag, somebody bet on the day. Oh, the long-tailed filly and the big black horse. They fly the track and they both cut across. The blind horse digging in a big mud hole. Can't touch bottom with a 10-foot pole. Wind to run all night, wind to run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail nag, somebody bet on the day. Wind to run all night, wind to run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail nag. Somebody bet on the Yes, sirree, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Foster had the real Oscar Missoula. He could hear music where other people just heard sound. And imagine him, a northerner, a Yankee, to take the music of the South and write it down so that the whole world learned to love it. I really think Stephen Foster was the greatest songwriter we ever had. And if we've got any real American folk music, well, he wrote it. Now, just let me tell you a little bit about Darrell Zanuck's famous production, Swanee River. About the color, the photography, the magnificent sets, the minstrel scenes with the Hall Jolson choir. Well, they're completely out of this world. Now, Don Amici was Stephen Foster. Andrea leads his sweetheart, Jane McDowell. The part played tonight by Nancy Kelly. And I played the part of Christie, the minstrel man. And some of the scenes between Andrea Leeds and Don Amici, folks, well, they're as beautiful as anything I've ever seen on the screen. Funny thing, though, all the time we were making that picture, I kept thinking about it. There was a man who loved one woman all his life. The only thing that ever came between them was his love for his music. And yet, it was that same music that brought them back again. It was like that from the very beginning. I remember once down in Louisville, a crowd of young folks were on the levee going off in a riverboat for a picnic. Jane McDowell was there, too, looking around for Stephen Foster. Kind of disappointed, like, for Stephen hadn't got there yet. And there was the boat, all ready to leave.
Hey, come on, Jane.
Don't wait for Stephen Foster.
No, you go along. I'll be all right. Goodbye.
Y'all wants I should drive you home, Miss Jane?
No, thanks, Uncle Joe. I'll just walk along the river away.
Because how y'all won't be needing that lunch basket now.
Well, I'll take it along. I might want to... Joe, what's that?
Oh, white trash. Trying to load some mules on that riverboat. Feels like that mule ain't want to be loaded, though.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean...
Y'all means that whistling, Miss Jeannie. Ain't nobody can out-whistle a mockingbird except one person. Mr. Stephen Foster.
Stephen.
I reckon you won't be needing old Uncle Joe now. Oh, you told me you don't want to go. You're going to leave in line. Oh, the heaving line will make him go. You're going to leave in line. Oh, he done had his corn and all. You're going to leave in line. Oh, he don't care nothing about them boys. You're going to leave in line. Come on, you. You might think you're fine. Heaving line, but ain't no mind. Here come the heaving line. Come on, you. You might think you're fine.
Oh, hello, Jane. Good morning. How are you?
Did you happen to remember that we were going to Strawberry Island this morning?
Strawberry Island? Oh, of course I do. That's why I'm here. Come on, we've got to get aboard the Crescent Queen.
Would you like to swim? There she goes.
Well, but that's ridiculous. I came here at 9:30. But I haven't been sitting here 5 minutes. It can't be more than... Well, here, look at my watch. It can't be...
Uh-huh.
Well, that's ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, Jeannie.
Oh, it's all right, Stephen.
I've got it, Jeannie.
But what?
Come on, you see. Come on, Jeannie, quick. Oh, the river's beautiful along here.
It's my very favorite spot.
Jeannie, it doesn't matter, does it?
What?
Well, take me now.
No, Stephen.
You know, nothing seems to matter when we're together. Have you noticed?
Yes, I've noticed.
Nothing should matter.
What, for instance?
Oh, that you're Jane McDowell of the McDowells. And I'm just, well, what are the 7 expressions? No count, good for nothing, low down?
Trifling?
Trifling, yeah, that's the one. Just trifling. No, that ending isn't right yet.
Stephen, wouldn't the Negro sing it like this? Ha 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 hum. Ha 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 hum.
Say, who's writing this? You... By jingo, you're right. How did you know?
Well, you forget I was brought up on Negro music.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I wish I'd been. They've something all their own. It's music from the heart. From the heart of a simple people. I wonder...
Wonder what, Stephen?
Well, I wonder why no one's taken the trouble to write it down. Develop the material and compose original music in the same mood.
Well, why don't you?
Why don't I? Well, why don't I?
Oh, I'm sure you can, Stephen. I know it. You have a real feeling for it.
If I do, it'll be your fault. Because you'll be the music. You'll be all the songs I'll ever write. Without you, I don't think I could ever write them. I think they just die.
Well, then we mustn't let them die.
Jeannie.
Oh, Stephen. Stephen, darling.
Jeannie.
Yes?
This is a terrible time to tell you, dear.
Well, what is it, Stephen?
Well, I'm leaving for my home in Pittsburgh tonight.
Pittsburgh? You're leaving? Oh, but Stephen, why? When are you coming back?
I don't know. Maybe not for a long time. But I'll come back.
Father spoke to me.
Yes, he did, and he's right, dear. I've nothing to offer you. Penny Whistler, he called me.
Oh, Stephen, do you think I care about that? Take me with you.
No, I can't, Jeannie. I gave him my word. Don't you see, darling? If I took you away now and failed, I'd hate myself for the rest of my life.
Oh, but you won't fail, Stephen.
No. Not if you're waiting. You will wait.
As long as I live. As long as I live.
Oh, don't, darling. Oh, don't. You mustn't. Don't cry, Jeannie.
I'm not crying, Stephen.
Don't cry, Jeannie. Don't weep, Jeannie. No. Not Jeannie. Susanna.
Oh, darling.
Don't cry, Susanna. Don't cry for me. I've got it. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me.
There it was, a simple little song out of the heart of Stephen Foster. A simple little song. How could a man ever dream that in a few short years it would sweep the country? What does that song come to mean, ladies and gentlemen? Covered wagon making tracks from one end of the country to the other. Singing. The opening of the Oklahoma Territory. 100,000 people in line waiting for the signal to go.
A new town set up. Thousands of settlers take out their claims. And through the ringing of the axes and the whining of the saws, what are they singing? What are they singing? Susanna, Susanna, not only out on the frontier, but on the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, America's greatest minstrel, E.P. Caristi, sings, Oh, Susanna.
Oh, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. As I grind to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Oh, it rained all night the day I left. The weather, it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Susanna, don't you cry for me. I'll come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I've come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, I had a dream the other night when everything was still. I thought I saw Susanna, dear, coming down the hill. Oh, the buckwheat cake was in her mouth, the tear was in her eye. As eyes are coming from the south, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I've come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I've come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee.
That was the gift of Stephen Foster. Music that crept into people's hearts. Music that gave them beauty and happiness. Of course, it wasn't all easy. Many times he was discouraged, terribly depressed because the publishers wouldn't buy his songs. But then things began to change. People started buying his music. Money started rolling in. He was a success. So back to Louisville he went, straight back to his beloved Jeannie. And their wedding day finds them on a boat headed for Pittsburgh.
Begging your pardon, I didn't mean it was no offense. It's been 3 hours now. You've been walking up and down the deck.
What time is it, Keene?
Almost midnight, ma'am.
Are they still in the lounge?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Foster's entertaining the other passengers with a new song. Is there anything I can do for you, ma'am?
No, nothing.
Jeannie, excuse me, ma'am.
Jeannie. Oh, darling, I'm so sorry. No, please don't turn away. Dear, I didn't realize it was getting so late.
Please go away.
Oh, I should be hit on the head and thrown overboard, leaving you up here all alone on our wedding night. But I didn't mean to, darling. I just wanted to hear the orchestra play my new song, and one thing led to another. You know how it is. The minute I realized, I rushed right back up here. Look, I even forgot to give the orchestra leader his fiddle. Kind of funny, holding a fiddle in my arms when I want to be holding you. Jeannie, please.
I like that music. What is it?
I don't know. That is, it just came to me watching the moonlight in your hair.
Oh, Stephen.
Can you ever forgive me?
How can I help myself? Please play it again.
All right.
It's almost midnight, dear. Must you work so hard?
Important question, Mrs. Foster. Do you love your husband?
Well, now that you ask me, Yes, I think I do.
Well, get ready to admire, my dear. When I finish this, he'll be a very celebrated man. World famous. Oh, think of it, darling. A suite for piano and string quartet by Stephen Foster.
Oh, Stephen, how wonderful. Darling, I have a surprise for you, too. Oh, it's not as wonderful as a suite, of course, but...
What is it?
No, I don't really know. It might be a boy, but then on the other hand, it might be a girl.
Oh, you don't mean that. Why, Well, Jeannie, you... Ooh, what do we use for a nursery? And we'll have to have a nurse. Jeannie, I better see about a doctor.
Oh, here.
Jeannie, I don't know any doctors in New York. What do I do?
Stephen, calm down.
Well, look, we could make this the nursery, and then we could... Jeannie, you're not joking.
Oh, of course I'm not.
Well, Jeannie, you shouldn't be on your feet like this. Here. Now, come on, sit down.
Stephen, stop.
Well, it came so suddenly. I just...
Poor Stephen. Fathers do have such a dreadful time, don't they?
Yeah. I suppose, after all, you were the one who should be upset.
Upset? Why? Don't you think it'll make me happy to have your son? And proud, too. Stephen Foster's son. I like the sound of that.
Oh, darling. I hope I'm worthy of it.
That's the way they wanted it to be. But somehow his music kept coming between them. There was a time when the little girl was born. He wasn't even there. His piano suite had been called a failure. And for 3 days he had disappeared. No one knew where. And there were so many other times that he failed that, well, finally she couldn't stand it any longer. And so those two who loved each other so much, came to a parting of the ways. Jane told him that she and the child were leaving him.
Our train leaves at 4, Stephen.
Yes, I know. Would you mind if I saw her for a few minutes?
Of course.
Thank you. Oh, bravo. Wonderful, magnificent.
Daddy.
We'll make a pianist out of you yet.
Daddy, what are little bugs on the paper for?
Well, they're supposed to be music, dear.
Let's sing a song, Daddy.
All right. What'll it be?
Oh, Kentucky Home.
Fine.
Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer, the darkies are gay.
Delightful, Miss Foster.
Oh, the corn tops ripe and the meadows all in bloom, while the birds make music all the day. Birds, Daddy, birds.
All right. Oh, darling.
I'm sorry, Stephen. It's getting late. Marion, darling, run along and fetch your coat.
Yes, Mother.
I ordered a cab for you.
Thank you, Stephen.
I'm sorry I made such a mess of things.
Oh, you know, Stephen, I'd be willing to try again, but we've got to think of Marion.
I don't blame you. I suppose there's nothing more to say.
No.
Except, I love you. I'm losing my whole world now.
Please, darling.
Here I am, Mother.
Already, darling?
With Daddy's hat and coat.
Well, Daddy can't go with you now, Rabbit. He's got to sit here and rattle out some more songs.
But we're going to Old Kentucky Home. I don't want to go if you're not going.
Oh, of course I'm going. But not right away. Later on.
And will you bring the songs with you so I can sing them?
Of course I will.
When will you bring them? Tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe sometime later.
Time to go now, Marion.
Yes. Time to go for a ride on the ferry boat and a ride on the steam car. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Daddy. You'll hurry.
Yes, darling.
Goodbye, Stephen.
Quietly a genie with a light.
And those are only a few of the scenes in Darrell Zanner's great picture, Swanee River. I wish we had time to give you more. I can only say that one of the greatest heartbreaks in Stephen Foster's life was the way the North turned against him during the war. They call him a traitor. Said his loyalities were with the South because his songs were of the South. Sure, his songs were of the South, but the whole country had been singing them. And then came a new kind of music, the music of war. Music that destroyed all that he had worked for. With each cannon shot, they wiped out a Stephen Foster song. And a northern song marched into his place until throughout the North, his music grew fainter and fainter, that at last it couldn't be heard at all. Yankee Doodle had taken command. But not for long, folks. They couldn't keep Stephen Foster's music down, because when the smoke of battle cleared and Jeannie had come back to him, came the greatest song of them all, the song that knew no boundaries, that neither North nor South could ever forget.
Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away, there's where my heart is turning ever. There's what the old folks say. All up and down the whole creation, sadly I roam, still longing for the old plantation.
Everybody sing!
Presentation of Swanee River. Thank you, Al, Don, and Nancy. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Kate.
It's been grand to have you with us. Happy New Year to you, and come back and be with us again soon. God bless you.
Good evening. This is Ted Collins. It's 8:30 in New York and time again for Kate Smith. Our guest tonight is that bright young Hollywood star, Lieutenant J.G. Gene Kelly, on leave from the United States Navy. But first, your hostess, Kate Smith.
Hello, everybody. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know enough about you. Just that I think you're mine, you try a different line. Baby, what can I do? I read the latest news, no buttons on my shoes. But baby, I'm confused about you. You've got me in a spin, oh, what a stew I'm in. 'Cause I don't know enough about you. Jack of all trades, master at none. And isn't it a shame? Why, I'm so sure that you'd be good for me if you'd only play my game. You know I went to school, and I'm nobody's fool. That is to say, until I met you. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know enough about you. Oh, Jack of all trades, master at none. And isn't it a shame? Say, I'm so sure that you'd be good for me if you'd only play my game. You know I went to school, and I'm nobody's fool. That is to say, until I met you. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know a thing about you.
Well, Kate, here we are again, all set to welcome tonight's guest. Will you do the honor?
Of course I will, Ted. And it's a real pleasure to introduce him, too. You've seen and enjoyed him in many fine motion pictures as comedian, dancer, and actor. And tonight, this versatile young star is going to appear for us in a radio short story by G. Worthington Post called Chance Meeting. And here he is, the genial Mr. Gene Kelly. Notice how quiet the city can be late at night. But the waterfront never sleeps. Tugboats fly the river. Shadows stir through the darkness. As Cap, the grizzled old watchman of Pier 212, comes along, he spies another figure waiting for something or somebody.
Who's there?
Me, Cap. Nick.
Come down to pay me a little visit, I suppose.
Sure, why not?
Wouldn't have anything to do with that gal you brought down here last night.
Maybe.
Looked like a real nice kid to me. Not your kind, Nick. Leave her be.
I just want to talk to her. A guy gets lonely, Cap.
I've known you ever since you was a kid. You can't always be taking everything you see, Nick. People get hurt. And you... Well, you'll be back at sea tomorrow.
Mind your own business, can't you?
Well, I got to be running along, son. But you think over what I said.
Think over what he said. Well, why shouldn't a guy want things? And take them. What's so wrong with that? How else is he going to get them? Oh, what am I kidding myself for? All day I've been carrying her around inside of me like some kind of a dream, telling myself that it couldn't be true, knowing that she wouldn't come back, knowing I'd never hear her voice.
Nick. Nick.
Sue. Oh, gee, honey, it's you.
Oh, of course. Nick, I promised I'd come back.
Here, let's sit down. Oh, golly, honey.
Why did you kiss me, Nick?
Why does any guy kiss a girl? Because he wants to. Look, honey. Look. All day I've been scared. I've been scared it wasn't real, the way we met, the two of us, like out of nowhere, finding each other.
Out of this whole big city, with these millions of people not caring for anybody else. All so busy taking whatever they want.
Taking whatever they want.
With us, it was magic, Nick. As if we were meant to find each other for keeps. The way you said.
Look, kid. Look. I'm going to sea tomorrow, and I don't know when I'll be back.
I don't care. I'll wait. Last night, when you said you loved me.
Wait a minute, baby. Look. I must have been nuts. And besides, that was last night, see?
Nick, you don't mean that.
Sure, I mean it. And if you're smart, you'll run like the devil was after you. Right now.
Nick, don't say that.
Hey, you're not very smart, are you? Don't you know that last night was just one of those things? It was just a line.
A line?
Sure. You meet a girl once, and so she's pretty, and you tell her all the things she wants to hear. She falls for it. You promise you'll write, that you'll come back. Then what happens?
What does happen?
New port, new girl. Same thing all over again. It's natural. Something you get kind of in the habit of doing, like taking a drink or breathing. Why, right now there's a girl waiting for me uptown. Hey, quit the tears, will you?
Oh, I'm not crying. I'm laughing.
Well, what's so funny?
You are. What makes you think a girl doesn't feel those things, too? You look so lonely. Like a little lost boy. I felt sorry for you. I've been around, too, mister. Oh, but I've got to hand it to you. You sure had me fooled. Well, so long, sailor. It's been a laugh knowing you. Oh, a real good laugh.
Why, you little... And that kiss was for goodbye.
Goodbye.
So long. So long. Oh, hiya, Pop.
Sent her away, did you? I'm proud of you.
Sure. I'm a real Boy Scout, all right.
The only thing is, when she ran past me, she was crying.
What?
Hey, well, I'll be doggone. Look.
Nick.
For Pete's sake, aren't you gone yet?
No, I'm not, Mr. Nick Mears. I just wanted to tell you something else. All those things I said about me, they weren't true at all. I'm not like that. And I could have loved you and waited for you, and
I told you I didn't want that.
And those things you said about you, I don't believe them either. And if you think you can forget me, you just try. You're nothing but a big fool.
Oh, honey, I gave you your chance once. I told you to run. Oh, I guess we're both a little nutty or in love or something.
Of course we are. You big dope.
Well, Cap, what now?
Don't mind me, boy. Shouldn't have paid any attention to a meddling old fool in the first place.
You heard him, Sue. Come in.
What was that kiss for, Nick?
That was for hello, honey. Hello for keeps.
Really grand. I'm so glad that you were here with us. That was truly a great performance.
Yes, it was, Mr. Kelly. It was very, very nice.
Well, gee, thanks. But if it's great performances you're collecting this season, I'd like to recommend to you MGM's new picture, The Green Years.
Well, thanks for the tip, Gene. Thanks very much. But you see, we've already seen Green Years. You're absolutely right about the fine acting in it, though.
Well, I'm glad you agree with me, Kate. And now, if you don't mind, I'll just draw up a rocker and absorb a little earful of America Sings.
You do that, Gene. You just sit down and rest yourself. Yes, sir, it's America Sings with Kate Smith. You know, Kate, You know, I really don't suppose that anybody can ever really predict what gives a song lasting popularity.
But, Ted, I know we're on safe ground with tonight's first tune. It's a grand old favorite that, well, anyway, look at it. It's River, Stay Away From My Door.
That was a good one.
You keep going your way. I'll keep going my way. River, stay away from my door. I just got a cabin. You don't need my cabin. River, stay away from my door. Oh, don't come up any higher. I'm so all alone. Leave my bed and my fire. Oh, that's all I own. I'm breaking your heart. Please don't stop breaking my heart. River, stay away from my door.
Oh, brother, that sure does bring back memories.
It sure does.
When was it you first sang that?
I think it was about 1931 or 32.
31, huh? Well, it's a great song.
Well, Ted, how about making a little popularity prediction right now?
Popularity prediction, huh?
Yeah.
Well, now, I'll tell you, Kate, there's a lilting little ballad going around Tin Pan Alley these days, and I think it's a natural. Only a small music publishing firm has it, but I don't see how it can miss. The title of it is I Fall in Love with You Every Day, and I wish you'd sing it.
A mighty sweet tune. I fall in love with you every day. The thrill is always new every day. The sun may shine and the rain may fall, and icy winds may blow. Then you smile at me, and all I see are blossoms in the snow. I thank my lucky stars every day that you are just as you are every day. The years may come and the years may go, and if we're still here, I'll say I fall in love with you every
Oh, that is pretty good. Now, Kate, what else we going to do?
Well, we've had a tried and true number from the past, and Colin's predictions from the future. What now?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a little request here from Mr. Gene Kelly. He's sitting in the old rocking chair, and he says he wants your rendition of Dr. Lawyer Indian Chief.
Okay, Ted, here goes. There's a doctor living in your town. There's a lawyer and an Indian, too. Neither doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief could love you any more than I. There's a barrel of fish in the ocean and a lot of little birds in the blue. Neither fish nor fowl, says the wise old owl, could love you any more than I do. No, 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 it could be true that anyone else could love you like I do. I'm gonna warn all dead-eyed dicks that you're the chick with the slickest trick, and every tick of my tick for you. Follow through. Tell the doc to stick to his practice. Tell the lawyer to settle his case. Send the engine to keep at his cowboy horse. Back a little rain in the face. 'Cause you know, it could be true that anyone else could love you like I do.
That anyone else could love you like I do.
And confidentially I confess, I sent a note to the local press that I've changed in my home address for you. Follow through.
Tell the doctor to stick to his practice. Tell the lawyer to settle his case. When the engine chief and his army horse back a little rain in the face.
It could be true that anyone else could love you like I do. Tell him to stick to his practice. Tell him to settle his case. Tell the engine chief and his army horse back a little rain in the face.
'Cause you know, it couldn't be true that anyone else could love you like I do. Like I do. Like I do. Like I do. Like I do.
like it's time for one more song.
The last song, I guess, Ted. Any particular one you care to hear?
Yes, Kate, I think I'm rather partial to a great new ballad. It's a beautiful love song.
I know the one you mean.
It's Strange Love. If you don't mind,
Ted.
sing it then, will you?
My love is surely a strange love, but strangely I don't want to change my love. Though your heart was always denied me, I'm happy when you are beside me. My arms are strangers to your arms, and my lips are pleading in vain again. But someday you'll love me in some way, or rather a strange love. Till then, my arms are strangers to your arms, and my lips are pleading in vain again. But someday you'll love me in some way, or rather a strange love. Till
You are listening to the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago. Keep your dials tuned to this same station for another exciting drama, the story of K. Fairchild, Stepmother. Can a stepmother successfully raise another woman's children? Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder presents the real-life story of K. Fairchild, a stepmother who tries. Tell me frankly, did you ever hear a girl with dingy teeth called lovely? No, I don't believe you ever did. Now, isn't it tragic to let dingy teeth mark you down when Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder can so quickly send your social rating up? Don't you think that's really possible? Then try Colgate Tooth Powder today and enjoy these thrilling results. Not tomorrow, but immediately. Yes, after your very first brushing. Just pour a little Colgate tooth powder on a damp brush and get going. Say, this feels grand, you'll exclaim as the fresh, bubbly, flavorsome foam surges through your mouth. Colgate tooth powder instantly goes to work on dulling film stains, removes them, so your teeth can glisten with natural radiance. And that's a sparkling background for a scintillating smile. And just feel the glorious freshness all through your mouth. That's why your breath is so much sweeter after brushing your teeth with Colgate tooth powder. And then, for the final benefit, Colgate tooth powder is safe and pleasant for gum massage. Now think of it. This one marvelous tooth powder benefits your teeth, your mouth, and breath, and is safe for massage. That's why millions praise Colgate as a genuine all-purpose tooth powder. So ask for Colgate tooth powder at any drug, department, or 10-cent store, and enjoy this amazing triple action every time you use it. But now, Colgate tooth powder presents K. Fairchild, Stepmother. If your husband suddenly found himself in serious trouble, if he should be faced with the prospect of losing his job under circumstances that deeply wounded his pride, wouldn't you feel hurt because he wasn't taking you into his confidence? Well, this is precisely the problem being faced by Kay Fairchild. She's certain that her husband, John, is in some kind of difficulty. The other night, he suddenly and mysteriously took a train for the state capital, giving Kay only the vaguest reasons why he had to go. He's still away, and she's had no word from him except a brief telegram. But let's join Kay. She's gone to visit her friend, Jen Porter. It's the hour of twilight, and the two women are sitting on the little balcony back of Jen's apartment, looking down over the town of Walnut Grove.
Have you heard from John since he left, Kay?
Just a telegram to say he'd arrived safely. I sat around for a while after dinner, hoping the phone would ring. It did presently. But it was Bert Weston calling Peg.
Did Peg go out with him tonight?
Mm-hmm. They took the car and drove out into the country.
Is Bud at home?
We went somewhere with Tubby Ellis. To the movies, I think. Billy was in bed, and Maddie was listening to the radio. I tried for a while to knit. Tried to read a book, but I couldn't concentrate. So I came over here to bother you.
Oh, I wish you'd bother me oftener. Sometimes I get pretty lonely myself in the evening.
Oh, we're a pair of unfortunate old ladies, aren't we, Jen? Your husband gone, mine gone. Nobody to keep us company but ourselves.
I'm probably just as well off without my husband. If he were here, he'd be pacing back and forth across the floor, chewing his fingernails. I'd be able to tell from the faraway look in his eyes that he was thinking of a cafe in San Francisco or a casino in New Orleans. No, it's better that he's out there where he wants to be, where he doesn't have a wife to cramp his style.
Well, it's a pretty safe bet that John isn't spending the evening in a cafe or a casino. He doesn't go in for that sort of thing. But I'd surely like to know where he is spending it. Jim, I've thought of 1,001 explanations for the way he's been acting. I'm sure the truth couldn't be as bad as some of the things I've imagined.
What are some of the things you've imagined?
Oh, I hesitate to tell even you. You know, Jen, being mayor of the town must give a man a chance to make some terrible mistakes. Maybe John's got himself into some kind of mess that's going to cause a scandal. Maybe he's got himself involved in... Oh, Jen, it's terrible to say it. But I keep thinking that perhaps... Well, he's mixed up in some sort of embezzlement.
Kay, you should have more faith in John than to believe that.
But, Jen, something must be going on that he's ashamed of. Or why wouldn't he talk to me about it? You know as well as I do that he's not staying down there at the Capitol for days just to talk about routine political matters with the governor. And that's what he said. Routine political matters. Jen, he wasn't telling the truth.
Maybe not, Kay. That's no reason why you should let your imagination go completely wild.
But if he's in trouble, I feel I should know about it. Oh, it doesn't matter what he's done, what's happened. I'd do everything in the world to help him. But he won't talk to me. It makes me feel so useless. So left out of things. What kind of a wife am I if he can't confide in me?
That sounds as though you blame yourself, Kay. You shouldn't do that. After all, you haven't done anything wrong.
Well, maybe not. But sometimes I feel that complete sympathy and understanding between us is impossible.
Why do you say that?
Oh, I don't know. He's older than I am. He's been married before and I haven't. And perhaps he's never really taken me seriously as a wife.
Oh, I'm sure that's not the explanation.
Oh, listen to that. Thunder.
I've been expecting it. Big black clouds have been piling up off there.
Mm-hmm. And there's a light breeze sprung up from the east, too. Fresh and sweet, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Smells as if we're going to have rain before long.
Look how dark it's getting. Oh, let's see. Evenings like this set my blood tingling. But they aren't good evenings to be alone and worried about your husband.
Yes. The east wind can be pretty disturbing.
Your lungs aren't big enough to drink in all of it you'd like to. I remember a night like this a long time ago. Seems like a long time. Just after I came to Walnut Grove. John and I were driving home from the country club. Well, it was a very nice night. Sometimes I wonder if I've found in Walnut Grove what I thought I'd find.
I guess nobody can answer that but you, Kay.
Even I can't answer it, Jen. I know I've been happy. But lately, tonight, I have a fear that something will happen that may cancel it all out. All we can be sure of is that nothing is sure. And that tomorrow won't be like today. Our lives move in cycles. Sometimes that's a good thing to remember. Sometimes bad. We're down in a dark valley. It allows us to hope and be almost sure that we'll come out after a while on top of a hill. But we have to remember, too, that beyond every hill, there's another valley. And tonight, I'm afraid that the road ahead for John and me is going to be downgrade.
Knowing as we do that the political bosses are relentlessly forcing John Fairchild out of his position as mayor of Walnut Grove, we begin to wonder whether Kay's foreboding of dark things to come doesn't almost mount to a sixth sense. But if Kay is lonely and pretty discouraged on the summer evening, her stepdaughter, Peg, is in a very different frame of mind. Her drive through the country with Bert has brought them to the top of a hill. They've gotten out of the car and stand now leaning on an old rail fence, watching the gathering storm in the east.
Oh, gee, Bert, don't you wish we lived in the country so we could take walks along old roads like this every night?
Oh, that's a mushy idea.
Wouldn't you like to have a home of your own? Out here where it's all so quiet, away from the noise of the streetcars and automobiles and trains.
Well, maybe. The city does grate on a person's nerves a bit sometimes.
See, you had a house built right here in this field, on top of the hill, with a front porch facing down that way. Think of sitting there in the evening and listening to the birds.
Hey, look, why don't you put this in blank verse?
Oh, but it would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. I never thought much about living in the country. But it mightn't be a bad idea.
If you were building a house of your own here on the hill, what would it be like?
Well, I guess it wouldn't be a very big house. Just big enough so a guy'd have someplace to hide when his wife had company. And it wouldn't be stone or brick. I'd want it made of wood so I could burn it down if I ever got tired of it and wanted to go away.
Oh, Bert, please don't say such silly things.
Maybe I would want it made of stone after all, though. Maybe if I had a stone house to anchor me down, I'd get over that feeling of always wanting to be someplace else.
If you had the right kind of house, you'd never want to go away from it.
But of course I would have to have a wife. Yep, have to have a wife to scrub the floors and make the beds and cook a chicken on Sunday. I couldn't afford a housekeeper on the money I'd be making. Probably couldn't even afford the house.
If the house wasn't so big, it wouldn't cost so much.
Say, how are you as a cook? I never thought to ask you before. Do you know how to stew a chicken for Sunday dinner?
You just bet I do.
You know how to make sauerbraten with noodles?
I could learn.
And would you want to get calluses on your knees scrubbing the kitchen floor?
I wouldn't mind. But I could buy 'em up, you know.
Well, maybe you'd do all right in a little stone house. You'd like to have a go at it, wouldn't you?
Bert, are you asking me to...
I'm just asking you whether you're sure you'd like that chicken mop bed-making routine.
I know I'd like it. I know for sure I'd like it.
That's all I wanted to know. Now, you're a wonderful little kid, Peggy.
Do you
Say, look, Evan, we better climb back in the car. That thing's just hit me on the nose as a drop of rain. Come on.
Bert, you're... See, I don't know what to say.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, suppose I do. It's still starting to rain. Come on, let's climb back into the jalopy. The rain soaks the curl out of your hair. Kay won't recognize you when I get you home.
For days now, Peg has been feeding herself from the idea that Bert has at last fallen in love with her. And it's clear that she interpreted those remarks of his on this night as a proposal of marriage. Maybe that was what Bert meant. Do you think so? If Peg should suddenly announce that she's going to be married, what effect would that have on Kay's already troubled mind? Your teeth should glisten when you talk. They should sparkle when you smile. They should feel smooth as satin against your tongue. Well, do they? Well, of course they do if you use Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder. For this remarkable dentifrice does all this and more for your teeth. Yes, Colgate Tooth Powder performs this amazing triple action. First, it cleans your teeth to dazzling natural brilliance. Second, it freshens your mouth and sweetens your breath. And third, it's safe and pleasant for gum massage. 1, 2, 3. 3 important benefits for teeth, breath, and gum massage from this one scientific dentifrice. 3 mighty good reasons to try Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder today. So ask for it at any drug, department, or 10-cent store. Tomorrow, Kay spends an evening with her 2 stepchildren, and Peg asks some questions that set Kay to thinking and wondering. So tune in tomorrow and every day at this time, Monday through Friday, for Kay Fairchild, Stepmother, brought to you by Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder. This is Don Hancock speaking. Take just 1 minute after you bathe to shower your body with Cashmere Bouquet Talcum Powder. This luxurious talcum dries up lingering moisture, imparts a satiny smoothness to your whole body, and helps comfort a sensitive, chafed skin. Hours later, it scents the air about you with the haunting perfume of Cashmere Bouquet, the fragrance men love. Get Cashmere Bouquet Talcum Powder at any toilet goods counter. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
Can a stepmother successfully raise another woman's children? Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder presents the real-life story of Kay Fairchild, a stepmother who tried. What would you think of a person who walked 3 times around the house before going in out of the rain? Sounds very foolish, doesn't it? But it's no more foolish than using different preparations to accomplish what Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder does in one single brushing. Sensational is the word for Colgate Tooth Powder's all-purpose action. Almost the second the brush touches your teeth, Colgate Tooth Powder changes to a rich, cleansing foam. It goes to work on dingy film stains that cloud over your teeth, removes them so the glorious natural luster sparkles in full brilliance. And then, while it cleans your teeth, Colgate Tooth Powder chases the staleness out of your mouth, imparts a glorious, bracing freshness, leaves your breath sweeter, too. Well, now, this should be enough for any dentist. But Colgate Tooth Powder can be used in gum massage. It's safe and pleasant, so it makes gum massage an enjoyable experience. So if you want brighter teeth, a fresher feeling in your mouth, and safety for gum massage, then enjoy all this with Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder. Now, you'll find Colgate Tooth Powder featured at any drug, department, or 10-cent store. And the giant size is most economical for family use. But now, Colgate Tooth Powder presents Kay Fairchild, Stepmother. If you were Kay Fairchild's next-door neighbor, and if you leaned over the backyard fence these days to chat with her, you'd find her the same smiling, cheerful Kay you'd always known. You'd not suspect that Kay herself is puzzled and worried about why her husband, John, is staying so many days at the state capitol, and that she doesn't know why he went in the first place. If you saw her stepdaughter, Peg, you might suspect from the glowing smile on Peg's face that last night she got from Bert Weston what she interpreted as a proposal of marriage. Well, as we join Kay, it's past 10 o'clock at night. She and Bud, returning from the movies, are just coming up the front porch. Listen.
It's warm tonight. Guess we should have taken the car instead of walking.
Oh, I'm glad we walked. Gave us a better chance of talking, Kate.
We did that. Let's sit down here in the porch swing for a while and cool off, huh?
Okay, sure. It's not very late. I don't have to go to bed just yet, do I, Aunt Kay?
Oh, no, I guess you get plenty of sleep, averaging it over the week.
I get more sleep than I really need during the summertime. Well, I'm here at home anyhow. But that's because I don't have enough to do around here. Well, it'll be different when I get to camp.
Yes, when you get to camp.
Gosh, I'll be on the go all the time at that place. They blow reveille at 6:30 in the morning. And from that time until they blow lights out at 10 in the evening, there'll be something doing every minute. Oh, gee, it's going to be swell.
This morning I was looking at the camp catalog you have up there in your room. It's all dog-eared and wrinkled. You almost worn it out.
Say, I've gone through that thing so often I could recite most of it by heart. But, see, I'm getting kind of tired of reading the catalog and looking at pictures. I want to go there and start having fun. This is the best part of the summer right now. Some of the other fellas went 2 weeks ago.
Well, there's still the whole month of August.
Sure, August is fine, but, well, it'd be getting ready. Have to get those hiking shoes and the sports shorts you said you'd get me, and geez, there are a lot of things to do. Well, couldn't we get the shoes and the shirts tomorrow, Aunt Kate?
I think we'd better wait until your father gets home, then.
Well, it's just the trouble. He keeps staying away and staying away. Why does he? What's he got to do down there at the state capitol?
A lot of little things, I guess. His business down there is taking him longer than he expected.
Seems to me Dad should remember about me wanting to go away to camp. He doesn't seem to pay much attention to me lately.
Well, it's just that he's so busy at the office, Bud.
I know, but I bet if he'd been home tonight, he wouldn't have gone to the movies with me the way you did.
Why, he might have. He's often taking you to the movies.
It's been so long since the last time I can hardly remember it. You've been awful swell to me, ain't you? I don't mean just tonight, but ever since you came here.
I'm glad you feel that way, Bud. Can you think of any reason, though, why I shouldn't be swell to you?
Well, you wouldn't have to be. After all, I'm not your own boy.
Well, of course you're my own boy.
Well, no, I'm not. Not in the same way as Billy. But you treat Billy and me just the same, as though we both belong to you. I think you're pretty wonderful to be that way.
Well, when I came here, Bud, I wanted you to become my own boy, and I wanted to become your own mother. And there's nothing I like better than hearing you say this. But you think it's worked out that way.
Gee, it sure has. You know, Aunt Kate, a fellow like me needs somebody to talk to now and then. Like we're talking tonight. I get to thinking about a lot of things all by myself. Things I'd like to ask somebody about.
What things, for instance?
Well, about what I'm going to be when I grow up. I know what I'd like to be, but I guess Dad wouldn't think so much of the idea.
Oh, you can't tell. What would you like to be?
You know what? I'd like to live way up in the North Woods and be a guide. I'd like to know all the places that catch the big fish and where all the streams come from and where they go. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to be able to shoot the rapids in a canoe and know how to live in the woods for months without supplies and all the other things a guide can do. Gosh, I'd sure like that. Yeah, but these guides don't make much money, do they?
Oh, I think most of them get along all right.
I guess I wouldn't make enough money to get married if I was a guide, would I?
Get married? Well, I don't know.
Well, that's all I have to think about getting married, of course. Oh, okay.
Yes?
Okay. Do you think it's all right for a fellow like me to have a girl?
Why, yes, I guess so.
You know, I do have a girl, Aunt Kate. Julie Ellen promised to be my girl, and I promised to be her fella.
Why, Bud, I think that's fine.
You know, I used to think girls were kind of silly. I didn't like to have them around, but Julie Ellen's different. I like her.
I understand, Bud. I'll tell you what. Wouldn't you like to bring Julie Ellen here to the house some evening? You can invite some of your other friends, too, and have a little party.
Hey, that'd be swell. Could I really do that, A.K.?
Of course. If Julie Ellen's your girl, there's no reason why you should meet her on a street corner.
Well, I go over and sit on the porch sometimes, but it'd be great to have her here at our house. Can we have the party right after we get back from camp?
Well, I don't see why not. We'll pick out an evening that suits everybody, and then you can send out invitations. Oh, here comes Peg. Hello, Peg.
Hello, Peg.
Hi, sis.
Oh, it's warm. We ought to have some fans out here on the porch.
There are fans inside in the living room.
It's all right. I'll cool off if I sit here for a while.
Were you to the movies, too?
Mm-hmm. Went with Lucille Newton. Oh, it was a wonderful picture. The story of a girl who comes back from the South Seas and the man she's in love with.
Well, I guess I'll be getting along to bed. Night, A.K.
Night, Bud.
Well, thanks again for going to show with me. And I'll be remembering about the party.
All right.
What party?
Oh, Bud and I've been planning a little party for some of his friends. With his girlfriend, Julie Ellen, as guest of honor.
His girlfriend? A kid like that having a girl?
Well, now, Peg, don't laugh about it. He's quite serious. You know, he's reached the age when boys start thinking about such things as being in love.
But just thinking about it. Wait till it really happens to him.
Well, there's lots of time for that.
Kay, don't you think that when two people are all so much in love with each other, terribly much in love, don't you think they ought to get married even though maybe they don't have so much money?
Well, that depends on a lot of things, Peg. I don't know that I could answer a general question like that.
But if being in love was the most important thing in the world to them, Don't you think they'd be wise to get married no matter what else happens?
No, I'm afraid love alone isn't enough to make a marriage successful. Lovers sometimes lose their appetites temporarily, but never permanently. And sooner or later there comes up the problem of when and how do we eat, and where do we live, and what do we wear.
I suppose so. But being married doesn't take so very much money, does it?
Well, it depends on how the newlyweds wish to live. Of course, South Sea Islanders might get along very well, I suppose, with no more property than a thatched hut, and no more income than the coconuts that fall from the trees. But I'm afraid the sons and daughters of wealthy folks would have slightly different requirements.
Oh, sure, but just ordinary people like us. It doesn't take much more for two people to be married than it does for them to live by themselves, does it?
Well, a lot of people have gotten married believing that, but changed their minds later.
Maybe they weren't really in love. Kay, do you think a man is usually more in love with his wife after he marries her than he was before?
My, you're asking an awful lot of difficult questions. I'm afraid I don't have the answer to that one either.
I should think a man would be more in love with a girl after he was married to her. I'll bet that's the way it works out most of the time.
Well, it's nice to think so. Maybe it's true.
It wouldn't matter if both the man and woman had to work for a while after they were married, would it?
Well, in lots of cases it wouldn't, Peg. In others, both members of the family working would cause trouble. But why this sudden, intense interest in the problems of marriage, Peg?
Oh, I was just wondering. I'm grown up, and it's natural I should want to know about such things, isn't it?
Why, yes, I suppose so. But there isn't any special reason why you're asking these questions tonight, is there?
Well, maybe one of these days a lot of people are going to get a surprise.
Peg means. We know she thinks that Bert Weston has proposed marriage, but is she trying to tell Kay that she's going to surprise people by eloping? Kay is already deeply worried about John's mysterious trip to the capital. In his absence, she feels more than ever responsible for Peg. Is Peg really serious about marriage? You see, here's a can of Colgate all-purpose tooth powder. Now, it's not a fancy package. Nothing remarkable about it. Excuse me, though. There is something remarkable about it. Yes, Colgate tooth powder gives results the first time you use it. First, this scientific tooth powder cleans your teeth so they can shine with full, natural brilliance. No film stains, no dingy clouds. And second, while it cleans, it freshens your whole mouth, sweetens your breath. And third, you'll find Colgate all-purpose tooth powder safe and mighty pleasant for important gum massage. There isn't a dental cleanser, powder, paste, or liquid that can possibly do more. So ask for Colgate all-purpose tooth powder today and enjoy these dazzling results. Colgate tooth powder is on sale at any drug, department, or 10-cent store. If Kay wasn't quite sure what Peg was driving at in asking all those questions about marriage, she finds out tomorrow, and very definitely, just what her stepdaughter has in mind. So be at your radio tomorrow at this time for Kay Fairchild, Stepmother. Brought to you by Colgate All-Purpose Tooth Powder. This is Don Hancock speaking. Cashmere Bouquet Talcum Powder is such a practical toiletry. It dries up lingering moisture after your bath, helps comfort a sensitive, chafed skin, imparts a silken smoothness to your whole body. Cashmere Bouquet Talcum wards off body staleness and gives your person the alluring fragrance men love. Cashmere Bouquet Talcum Powder comes in 10 cents and larger sizes at all toilet goods counters. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
Makers of Draft present Kitty Keene Incorporated, the dramatic adventures of a beautiful woman of the world. Now, wouldn't you like to know, when you're washing fine woolens, like a pretty sweater or some of baby's daintiest things, that you are washing them with a stud that will help keep them fluffy and pliable? Yes, and help guard against shrinking, too. Well, you can, just by switching, as so many thousands of women are doing, to a new way to wash woolens. It's Draft, Procter & Gamble's new washing suds. Draft helps woolen stay soft and fluffy and keep their delicate colors like no washing suds before it, because Draft removes a major annoyance, a major problem in washing woolen: hard water scum. The very same sort of scum that makes a ring around the basin and a film on the rinse water. It's clinging scum, almost impossible to rinse out, that catches in the fibers of delicate wools and not only coarsens their texture, makes them feel harsh, but actually covers up their color. But Draft is different. Draft cannot form scum. That is true in hardest water. Hot or cold water, hard or soft, it's all the same to Draft. In any water, Draft whisks instantly at the suds and rinses out completely free of color-dulling, texture-coarsening scum. With Draft, you can wash your fine woolens in lukewarm water, just the right temperature to guard against shrinking and protect colors. And remember, be sure to try this special new sud that rinses free of scum when next you're washing woolens. Your lovely sweaters and baby's daintiest woolens will come out so soft and woolly, so fresh in color, you'll be delighted. Look for the green and black Draft package when you're out at the store today. Or ask for Draft, D-R-E-F-T, by name. And now, Kitty Keene Incorporated. Yesterday, hours after the accident, Jill called at the hospital to see her mother. Where Jill was, why she's not been to see Kitty before, we shall learn very soon. Now, a half hour later, Jill and Kitty are alone and closer to an understanding than they've been in months. Just listen.
You know how foolish it was, sweetheart. It was just a misunderstanding, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Just a misunderstanding.
Why, there couldn't be any other woman in Bob's life. Not the way he loves you, Joe.
Does love me. He does love me, Mother.
Oh, of course he does, you silly little sweetheart. And right now I'm going to ring to the nurse and have her send him in here. He's just down the hall in Hulda's room.
No, Mother, please. Let's just have a few more minutes alone. I've got to get my thoughts straightened out.
All right, honey.
You see, I've had a reason for acting as I did. I don't suppose I've been quite normal, but...
But what?
It doesn't matter now, Mother. I'm so happy again. But I've been so miserable.
I know you have, dear.
And you had to get yourself all smashed up to bring me to my senses.
Not all smashed up.
Why, when I saw that paper this morning, Oh, Mother, what if you died and I hadn't even been here in town?
But, Jill, dear, I didn't die. At least if I did, I feel remarkably well for a ghost.
Oh, Mother.
But there's something I haven't told you, Jill. You say you were out of town last night?
Yes.
I've been out of town all weekend. You see, Jack and Adelaide invited Johnny and me and a lot of the other people to a house party at Jack's hunting lodge on Eagle River.
I see.
I know you don't like Adelaide. Neither do I very much. I had a terrible time, but at least I got a couple of laughs, and that was better than sitting in that lonely room of mine crying my heart out.
Of course it was, dear. But, Jill...
Yes, Mother?
Now, I don't want you to think that Mother is butting into your business, because I've no intention of that. But as long as we're straightening out everything, I do wish you'd tell me one thing.
What's that, Philip?
Just what is this Johnny Mason to you, dear?
Johnny's nothing but a good friend. You see, he was almost as lonely as I was. That's how we happened to meet. The housekeeper at my hotel introduced us.
Uh-huh.
And then he asked me if I'd have Christmas dinner with him. And I was so miserable and so mad at Bob that I said I would. And I did.
I see.
And then he got me my job. And even if Johnny is one of the Ramona gang, he's always been a perfect gentleman with me. That is, except last night.
Except last night?
Yes, Johnny did sort of get some wrong ideas. You can bet I put him in his place.
You mean at the hunting lodge?
No, at the roadside inn where we stopped on our way back.
At the roadside inn?
Yes. It so happened we ran out of gas about 100 miles out of town. It was 12 o'clock then. By the time we got towed to a gas station and everything, it was 1 o'clock, so...
And it so happened Mr. Mason suggested you stay at a very convenient roadside inn, is that it?
Mm-hmm. I was so awfully tired and cold that it was all right with me. But when Johnny tried to kiss me goodnight, that wasn't.
I see. Jill, honey.
Yes?
When we talk to Bob, let's not mention the roadside inn. Oh, I know that Bob would understand, but, well, it wasn't quite the thing to do, so let's not hurt his feelings.
Oh, Mother, you don't mean that Bob would think...
The male of the species is a strange beast, honey. You'll learn that as you grow older. Oh, but Bob's been miserable for weeks, dear. Can't we ask him in now?
Please, Mother. I've been so lonesome, and I need Bob. Knowing that I won't ever know how much I need him.
And Bob needs you, dear. Why, that boy is risking his life every minute of the day. And the three of us have got to decide right here and now whether we're to go on with this fight or not.
Oh, I've been such a fool.
Oh, don't worry about that, not that. Foolish or not, Bob loves you. But, say, push that whatchamacallit that turns on the light above the door, will you, dear?
Sure, Mother.
And while we're at it, we'll ask the nurse to tell Mr. Mason to be on his way. You don't mind, do you?
Of course I don't, Mother. He'll understand. And then...
Yes, would you step down the hall to Mrs. Olson's room and ask Lieutenant Jones to come in with you?
Certainly. I never can think of who there's Mrs. Olson. Oh, and nurse.
Yes, Mrs. Jones.
After you ask my husband to step in here, would you please tell the gentleman who's waiting for me at the desk that he needn't wait any longer, that I'm going home with my husband?
I'll be glad to.
Thank you.
Gee, Mother, I am going home with Bob.
That in itself is worth 3 broken ribs, Joe. And speaking of going home, I want to get out of here sometime today.
And when you do leave, you're coming home with Bob and me. Bob?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You've got something to...
Mm-hmm. Close the door, though.
Yes, sure.
Well, you two are really such strangers as you seem to be. Perhaps I'd better introduce you. Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones.
Jill.
Oh, Bob. Hold me. Hold me tight.
Jill.
Now, Mr. Son. Don't ever let me go back home.
Jill.
Oh, I've been such a fool, Bob.
No, you haven't, sweetheart. I was a dirty dog, but let's just think the things you did about me. You had a right to feel the way you did.
I'm sorry that I'm crying so, Bob. I'll try to stop so you can kiss me.
Oh, they're happy tears, aren't they, honey?
Oh, such happy ones, Bob. And we won't ever mistrust each other again, will we?
Never, Jill. Never. Oh, gee, honey, just to have you in my arms again and
You see, you and I, we can't quarrel, Bob. We haven't only ourselves to think about now.
Yes?
Pardon me, Miss Keene, but I'm Johnny Mason. I see that Jill is in here.
Oh, what do you want, Johnny? Why did you come in here?
Just to say goodbye, that's all. I got the message from the nurse that you were going home with your husband.
Then suppose you scram.
Yes, I'm going to right away. Now that Jill has returned to the fold, I imagine it'd be rather embarrassing to have me around.
Why, you...
Wait, Bob. Look, Johnny.
Yes, Miss Keene.
I don't know what your game is, but you're on dangerous ground. And if you're smart, you'll just say goodbye and close that door behind you.
That's just what I intend to do as soon as I ask Jill where she wants me to leave her overnight case. You see, we spent the weekend out of town together.
That's a dirty lie.
I hate to disillusion you, Jones, but suppose you ask Jill where we spent last night. And Jill, when you unpack, don't forget my razor. It's in the top compartment.
Well, Jill?
I don't think it's my place to say anything.
Oh, now wait, both of you kids. You know in your heart,
You
Bob...
stay out of this, Kitty. Well, Jill, I'm waiting.
For what? Me to defend myself against a rotten lie like that? You claim to love me. You can think such things of me?
I'm not thinking anything.
Oh, yes, you are. And if you have no more love and respect for me than to even consider a dirty, filthy lie like that, I'm glad I didn't tell you what I intended. You don't deserve to know.
Jill, stop. You don't realize what you're saying.
Listen to me.
Oh, don't
Jill.
you dare to touch me. Take your hands off my shoulders. If this is all I mean to you, Bob Jones, I'm glad I found it out in time.
All I'm asking you to do is...
Yes, to tell you that Johnny was lying. But if you don't know he was, I'm certainly not going to tell you. I've gotten along without you for 3 months. I guess I can get along without you again. I'll call you later, Mother. I don't even want to stay in the same room with him. I hate him. And I never want to see him.
Oh, Bob, stop it. Go after her.
Why? He doesn't want me to. All I asked her to do was to tell me that he was lying.
But don't you see, Bob?
No, I'm afraid I don't. Well, I guess I'll run along too, Kitty. Ramone's expecting me at noon.
You can't go back there. After Johnny Mason tells Ramone what's happened here, your life won't be worth a bullet to snuff it out.
What difference would that make? Don't you realize, Kitty, I just had heaven in my arms and I threw it away. What can Ramone do to me now? What could he take away from me? I haven't already lost.
Oh, no, Bob. I need you. You can hear me, can't you, Charles? When two people love as we do, there is no such thing as time, as space. Look, here's the situation, sweet. I'm stuck in this darn bed and can't even go after Jill. And she needs me more than she ever did before. She's going to have a baby, Charles. That's what she was going to tell Bob. That's why she's acting as she is. I can read it in her face. But it's her secret, Charles, not mine. I can't tell Bob. He wouldn't believe me if I did. And Bob, maybe... Oh, Charles, help me. Please send your thoughts to me. Tell me what to do.
While this heartbroken mother sobs in her pillow, Charles, across half the world, stirs uneasily and senses that Kitty is calling to him, that Kitty needs him. And solemnly he lifts his eyes to the first star of evening in the sky overhead. Be sure to listen Monday. You know, just a little while ago, we were telling you that our new washing sets, Dreft, is the finest way of washing woolens you ever tried. That's because Dreft, for the first time, brings you a washing suds that can't form scum, even in hardest water. Not one bit of stuff to make woolens feel coarse and harsh or cover up their color. Fine woolens, like sweaters and baby's daintiest things, come out of dreft suds so soft and woolly and pliable, and with colors so bright and fresh, you'll be amazed. Then, there's this dreft advantage, too. It means a good deal in washing woolens. Dreft makes such a grand amount of suds. Now, you know when you're washing woolens, you don't want to rub them much. This means you need lots of suds, and dreft makes 5 times more suds than any soap in hardest water. For soft, bright woolens, get dreft today. It's spelled D-R-E-F-T in the smart green and black package. Be sure to tune in at this same hour Monday for Kitty Keene Incorporated. Did Charles receive Kitty's prayerful message? Will his great love for her enable him to transmit his thoughts, his help, across the battle-torn wastes of China, across the seas to Kitty? How can these two, thousands of miles apart, one helpless in her hospital bed, untangle the 2 lives that mean most to her? Be sure to listen Monday. And until then, this is Jack Brinkley saying goodbye.
This program has come to you by special electrical transcription. The next episode of Kitty Keene Incorporated will come to you Monday at this same time. This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
This program comes to you by special electrical transcription.
Procter & Gamble, the makers of Draft, present Kitty Keene. Springhouse cleaners, attention. Here's news about a new way to clean your rugs this spring. It's Draft, the new non-alkaline suds that can't fade colors any more than plain water. We honestly think you'll be delighted with the results you get. Mrs. M.L. Bartholomew of Bowling Green, Kentucky, was so thrilled she wrote us this letter. I quote, I had my greatest thrill yesterday when I cleaned my 9x12 rug with less than half a box of Draft. It happened like this. My rug was simply filthy, and it worried me to death because money is tight, and we have to watch every penny. I simply didn't know what to do about it, and finally decided to try Draft. First, I made a little nice Draft suds and cleaned one spot. The colors of the rug stood out beautifully. I said right then, Draft is going to make my whole rug look like that. And it did. My husband says the rug looks unbelievably lovely. Thanks a million for Draft. And thanks a million for your pleasant letter, Mrs. Bartholomew. I hope every woman listening will follow your example. Draft is marvelous for rugs because it cannot form hard water scum to dull rug colors. And that makes it so easy to clean rugs the Draft way. For all you do is make a solution of about 3 tablespoons of Draft in a pint of water. Use just a little of this solution in a bowl. Work up the suds with a sponge and go over just a small area of the rug. And then go over the same area with a sponge dampened with plain water to remove all suds. Let the rug dry on a flat surface and brush it well. And say, we'll bet you shout hooray, because there you are with bright, clean rugs that do justice to the rest of your spring-cleaned house. So buy a package of Draft, D-R-E-F-T, from your dealer. Spring clean your rugs this new way. And now, Kitty Keene. Yesterday, in a dramatic, heart-rending scene, Mrs. Aaron Levy testified before the grand jury. She told them how Ramoni had ordered her husband to be killed, told of Bob's gallant actions. But again and again, as the foreman of the grand jury read Ramoni's secret records, the initials J.J. kept cropping up. And in a burst of righteous fury, the foreman ordered this mysterious J.J. brought before the jury on the morrow. Now it was late that same night in Bob and Jill's apartment. Just listen.
kind of nice being home here just by ourselves, isn't it, Jill?
Mm-hmm. Just the light from the fireplace. And you holding me in your arms like this.
You like to be in my arms, sweetheart?
You know I do, Bob. I think that's what I missed most when we were separated. Your arms. They're so strong. I feel so safe when they're around me.
You sure you're comfy, Jill?
Uh-huh. Bob.
Yeah, honey?
What were you thinking of right then?
The baby. Our baby.
Baby's going to be here any day now, Bob.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of worried about, Jill. Gee, I wish tomorrow was over, but...
So do I.
You're sure you want to go through with it, honey? You sure you want to face that jury?
There's nothing else I can do now, is there?
Well, we could get you out of town, take you out of the jurisdiction of the court. Kitty and I were talking about that earlier this evening.
Not stay and face it?
Well, with you in this condition, Jill, we wouldn't want to take any chances.
Don't you see, sweetheart? We aren't taking any chances. I promise you I won't get excited.
And I don't know. Kitty's plenty worried.
And yet she gave us this evening to ourselves. That's just like Mother, isn't it?
Yeah. She's swell, Jill.
I'll say she is. And I don't deserve either of you.
Oh, now, honey.
Well, I don't, Bob. Both of you have been so sweet and understanding all through this. And I've acted like a silly little fool.
Well, Kitty was telling me the other night. She said she acted just about the same way just before you were born. She wouldn't believe anything Charles said and thought the whole world was against her.
I know. Mother told me that, too. Gee.
What, dear?
I was just thinking, this is going to be an awful blow to Father, Bob.
What? Having a grandchild?
Oh, you know that isn't what I meant, Bob. What Father's going to think if I should jail.
Why, you aren't going to jail, Jill. You get that out of your pretty little head.
You aren't half as sure of that as you pretend. You're just as worried as I am, Bob, and you know it.
Well, it is a mighty peculiar situation, Jill.
I'll say it is. And no matter how hard I try not to be, I'm scared, Bob.
Well, maybe we just better get you out of town tonight. Right now, sweetheart.
No, whatever I am, I'm not a coward, Bob. I'm going to stay here and face the music.
Oh, but, sweetheart, what if you are indicted?
Look, Bob, now let's face the facts. For months, you and Mother have been risking your lives to break Ramona.
Yeah, and that should carry some weight with the jury.
I'm not thinking of a jury, Bob. I'm thinking of our baby.
Our baby?
Yes. Now, look, Bob. If I should run away, Ramona's lawyers could use it in his defense, couldn't they?
Well,
they could say that you and I were in cahoots or something, and use my running away to discount your testimony.
Well, they might, but...
You know they could. Those high-priced lawyers of his are going to move heaven and earth to free him. And my running away would be just one more loophole through which he might slip out.
Well, I guess you're right there, Jill.
And I won't have him free to make other wives and other mothers suffer. We've got to take into consideration that we're parents ourselves now, Paul.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Jill.
And please don't be afraid, Bob. Really, I'm not. Not in my heart. Now that I'm back in your arms.
Oh, Jill, honey, I've missed you so.
And I've missed you, sweetheart. Just as Kitty says, if you really love will make everything all right again.
Yeah, I guess so, honey, but it's hard to feel that way sometimes when things are going wrong.
Like they were for us.
Yeah, like they were for us.
And Bob.
Yes, darling?
You never did really care a darn about that old man, did you, Bob? What are you laughing at?
Oh, you just can't help being a little bit jealous, can you?
Now, how can I help it when you're so good-looking, Mr. Man?
I bet you tell that to all the boys.
There's no other boy but you, and there never will be. Oh, that is, unless... All right. And just for that, I'm going to pray tonight that our baby's a girl.
Well, that's really what I want. A little girl with soft brown hair and dark brown eyes and a little pug nose and two red lips like these.
Oh, you're so sweet to me. She'll never love you like I do. I can tell you that.
We have something very beautiful, you and I, Jill. Nothing can ever take it away from us.
You'll always love me, Bob. Always. Even when I'm old and wrinkled.
Well, when that day comes, I won't be so young and handsome myself.
You're evading the issue. Answer my question, Mr. Jones.
You know I will, Jill, but loving each other like we do, we aren't ever going to grow old, you and I.
Never, Bob. Never. Oh, hold me, Bob. Hold me tightly. Oh, I'm home again. Home. And I'm never going to leave.
I guess this last little spat of ours taught us both a lesson, Jill. Where there's love, there must be trust. And where there's trust, there can be no misunderstanding.
I wouldn't have acted like I did, Bob, if it hadn't been for Baby.
No, I know that, honey. And as far as I'm concerned, other women just don't exist, that's all. Now take this mignon that you were so jealous of.
Yes, Bob.
Doesn't hurt you to talk about her, does it?
No. No, I'm only sorry for her now. What's going to happen to her, Bob?
Well, it's hard to say, Jill. She'll be indicted, that we know. But Kitty thinks she's worth saving.
I know.
I heard her say something to Thatcher about trying to get her a suspended sentence, parole her to her mother or something.
Oh,
but say, it's getting late, honey. It's almost 12. Don't you think you better go to bed?
Oh, what's the use, Bob? Neither of us is going to sleep much. You know that.
Yeah, I suppose we will. Well, I better throw another log on the fire there, then. Can you sit up just a bit, sweetheart?
Of course, dear.
There we are.
Don't be long, Bob. Come right back.
Just as soon as I freshen up this fire a bit, honey. You know, someday we're going to have a real fireplace, not a dinky little one like this.
In our own little white house in the country.
Our own little white house in the country with roses peeking in the windows and babies peeking out.
Oh, Bob.
Why, what's wrong?
Oh, Bob. Now what?
I don't know, Jill. Might be a neighbor wanting to borrow a cup of sugar.
Oh, dear.
Just a minute. Stop that work.
But please be careful, Bob. After that testimony before the grand jury this afternoon, you don't know what might happen.
All right, just a minute, please. That's the Just Western Union, honey, with a package of some kind. Big flat package.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it, honey. Here. Well, looks as though Christmas is coming early this year.
But what's in the package? Who's it from? Why did they send it by Western Union at this time of night?
I don't know, Jill.
Well, open it.
Oh, yeah, sure. What? Look, it's from Kitty, Hulda, and Anemone.
Kitty, Hulda, and Anemone? Oh, open it quick, Bob.
You bet. I'd like cut this string with my knife.
Okay.
Oh, no, now, wait just a minute, honey. I'll lift the cover here.
Oh, Bob. Bob, it's a layette. A complete outfit for the baby. Oh, just look at the little booties and shirts and jackets.
Oh, say.
Oh, they're so sweet.
so beautiful. But why did they send them to us now? Tonight?
Oh, wait, here's a card here tucked into the little booty, Jill. Looks like Kitty's handwriting. Yes, it is.
Well, read it, Bob.
Sweetheart, that's how Kitty starts it.
Go on.
Just a little reminder that for the sake of the young gentleman or young lady who may wear these clothes, you must be brave tomorrow. And you mustn't let yourself become excited. For baby's sake. It's signed Mother, Hilda, Anemone.
Oh, how sweet, Bob. And I will be brave. I won't let myself become excited. For baby's sake.
Can Jill keep that promise? What will happen if the members of the grand jury don't believe her story? What if Jill, the mysterious J.J. of Ramone's secret records, should be indicted and held for trial? Don't miss tomorrow. And don't forget, try Dreft today for cleaning your rugs. Remember, Dreft cannot form hard water scum to dull rug colors. Just dissolve 3 tablespoons of Dreft in a pint of water. Then apply Dreft suds with a sponge to a small area of your rugs at a time. Then go over with a sponge dampened with plain water, and presto, clean, bright rugs free from dulling scum. Dreft suds are mild, non-alkaline. Can't fade rugs' colors any more than plain water. And best of all, Dreft goes so far. In hardest water, Dreft makes 5 times more suds than any soap. Start doing your rugs this new way today. Ask your dealer to send you Dreft, D-R-E-F-T. And be sure to tune in at the same hour tomorrow for Kitty Keene. Surely any fair-minded jury must see the truth. But sometimes justice is blind. Be sure and be in the grand jury chambers when Jill tells her side of the story tomorrow. Until then, this is Jack Brinkley saying goodbye.
This program has come to you by Special Electrical Transcription. The next episode of Kitty Keene Incorporated will come to you tomorrow at this same time. This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
Makers of Draft present Kitty Keene. The final task of spring house cleaning is usually the dishes. And I mean all the dishes, the entire contents of your china cupboard. Isn't that so? Say, that's a big job. Maybe you're dreading it, but you needn't. Do those dishes the new way with Draft, and you'll breeze through that big dishwashing job with less effort and in less time than you dream possible. Draft has amazing advantages over average dishwashing suds. For instance, what happens first when you start that spring dishwashing job with Draft? Well, first, you notice that Draft whisks into suds instantly in hardest water. And the water doesn't have to be scalding hot either. You can wash those innumerable plates and platters and glasses and cups in warm water. That's easy on your hands. And save the scalding water for rinsing. All right, there's one big advantage right there. And here's another. When you turn to Draft, you won't have to dry that big pile of dishes. Amazing? Yes, it certainly is. And yet one trial will show you it's true. You see, Draft is the first suds that does not form hard water scum. And it's this gummy clinging scum that's so hard to rinse off that must usually be polished off with a tea towel. And since Draft does not make scum, you don't have to dry the dishes. Just a hot rinse, and they dry by themselves, free from streaks or spots. So when you do your big spring dishwashing job, use Draft. And while your dishes are drying without toweling, use the same miracle suds for the woodwork inside your china cupboard. And by the time you're through with that, your dishes will be all dry, shining and immaculate. The final perfect touch of your spring-cleaned household. So look for the green and black package today, or ask your dealer for Draft by name, spelled D-R-E-F-T. And now, Kitty Keene. Yesterday, Jill told her story to a skeptical grand jury. But before any indictment could be voted, ordering Jill to trial as a confidential bookkeeper for Ramone's gang, Kitty, her eyes blazing, rose to her feet, demanded that she be allowed to speak. Now it is a moment later, and the grand jury chamber is in an uproar. Just listen.
Of this demonstration, number one line, the jury chamber clear.
But I tell you that Jill is innocent. Kitty, maybe you shouldn't have tried to say anything. I'm frightened. Don't be, honey, and don't let yourself get excited. They'll quiet down just a minute. Most of the crowd in here are witnesses. People whom Ramone's robbed and tortured, and people who've lost their loved ones to him. So much the better. I want them to hear what I have to say. They'll be quiet again in just a minute.
Quite a demonstration you started, Miss Keene.
I had no idea this would happen. You know that. Just that everyone's nerves are so on edge that they exploded when I set off the spark. I still want to talk to the gentleman of the grand jury, and I intend to.
Just as you say, Miss Keene. We certainly owe you that much.
Now, Jill, dear, don't worry. The grand jury isn't going to indict you. But how do you know, Mother? The foreman thinks I'm guilty. Then Mr. Anderson is going to change his mind. I've fought greater odds than this and won. And I mean to win this fight.
Now, please, everyone. There'll be no more demonstrations. Now, we are agreed that Alibi Ramone is guilty on all counts as charged, and that all known members of his criminal combine must be tried with him. But Miss Keene certainly has distinguished herself in smashing the rackets and enabling us to secure this invaluable evidence against Ramone. And if she asked to speak in her daughter's defense, I, for one, believe we owe her that much and more. The floor is yours, Miss Keene.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And please, all of you, you witnesses and you gentlemen of the grand jury, don't misunderstand this favor that I've asked. No one dislikes Alibi Ramone any more than I do. But wait just a minute, please. A grave mistake will be made if my daughter is indicted as a member of Ramone's gang. Please now, those of you who know me know I don't make statements that I can't support.
Just how do you intend to prove that statement concerning your daughter, Miss Keene?
That will be disclosed in due time, Mr. Foreman. Remember now, I've been fighting this case, trying to smash Ramone while you gentlemen of the grand jury, by your own admission, were totally unaware of what was going on in your city.
Yes, that's true.
Now, I don't very often talk of what's happened to me during any case, but this is an exception.
Go on, Miss Keene.
Those few of you who don't know may be interested to learn that I'm the same Kitty Keene who exposed and smashed the marriage racket, and who in some measure helped State's Attorney Thatcher break up the Warren, Powers, and Toohey gangs. And just a minute, going back still further than that, I'm an ex-Follies girl. Oh, I've done things which I deeply regret, but I've never done anything of which, when looked at from all sides, I need be ashamed.
But why this autobiography, Miss Keene?
Because I'm leading up to the reason for the opening of my office. Gentlemen, the office I opened to help girls who needed help, who needed an understanding friend. I opened that office to help any girl who came to me for help. And I'd be a mighty poor mother, wouldn't I, if I didn't try to help my own daughter when she needs me, perhaps more than she'll ever need me again in her life.
Now, just a moment, Miss Keene.
Yes, Mr. Anderson.
Do I understand this correctly? You are offering us your own past record in an effort to create sympathy for your daughter and to attempt to lessen her guilt?
Not at all. I merely mean that whatever Jill has done, she's acted in foolish innocence, and you're not going to indict her.
Well, I'm afraid, Miss Keene, that on the evidence that's been presented so far, there's nothing else this grand jury can do.
What evidence?
These ledgers on the desk right here. Ramone's secret business records. Why, in these records, your daughter is accounted for, deposited and withdrawn thousands and thousands of Alibi Ramone's dollars.
As bookkeeper for the Granite Mortgage and Trust Company. But may I ask you, Mr. Foreman of the grand jury, just where you got those records?
You know as well as I do, Miss Keene. You and Lieutenant Jones brought them in yourself.
And do you mean to tell me that you, an intelligent man, can believe that the two people in this world who love Jill most would ever have let you see those records if we'd thought that she was guilty?
Well, I hadn't exactly thought of it from that angle.
Then think of it now. Lieutenant Jones and I risked our lives to get those records. And after reading them, we debated long and seriously whether or not we'd destroy them, and all possible chance of convicting Ramone with them, or bring them here before you gentlemen of the grand jury.
Well,
In view of the damning evidence that they contained against Mrs. Jones, and knowing the natural love of a mother for her daughter, I can't say that I blame you.
Knowing the natural love of a mother for her daughter. What does a man know of such love? What could he ever know?
I'm afraid I don't quite understand you, Miss Keene.
Then let's talk plain talk. Put me on the witness stand. Ask me some of the questions that you asked Jill.
For example, Miss Keene?
Ask me why she left her husband. I know. I should. I failed my husband in very similar circumstances just about 20 years ago.
Oh, please, Mother.
No, Jill, darling, this isn't any time for false pride. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Ask me that question.
Well, I fail to follow your logic or your line of reasoning, Miss Keene, but all right. Why did Mrs. Jones leave her husband?
There isn't a woman in this courtroom who couldn't tell you. But men, seemingly, are quite stupid about such matters. Jill left her husband because she was going to have a child. Oh, this isn't a plea for sympathy. It's a statement of fact to show you the working, the reasonings of her mind. Perhaps that's also something that a man can't understand.
Well, I'm afraid I can't, Miss Keene. Why should the fact that Mrs. Jones is about to be a mother cause her to leave her husband?
Jill told you in as many words. She thought there was another woman in his life. And something too beautiful had happened to her to allow their love to be desecrated in that manner.
And thinking there was another woman in the lieutenant's life, despite him, your daughter allied herself with the very forces against which the lieutenant was working?
That just proves you don't understand. Jill did not know that the Granite Mortgage and Trust Company was in reality nothing but a clearinghouse for Ramone's dirty money until Bob and I told her the other night.
You will take your oath on that, Miss Keene?
Gladly.
But in the light of Mrs. Jones' obvious intelligence, it seems impossible that she should continue in such a capacity for 3 months without realizing what she was doing.
Jill told you the truth about that, too. For these last 3 or 4 months, she's been walking, living in a dream.
Yeah, but it still seems impossible to me, Miss Keene, that despite Mrs. Jones' approaching motherhood, her mind could become so disordered that she would permit herself to become a party to such a crime.
What crime? Ramone committed the crime. All Jill did was enter figures in a book.
True,
figures of which she knew nothing and cared less as long as they totaled. All Jill was thinking of was that $60 in her pay envelope at the end of every week. The dollars that meant comforts and care, perhaps life for her baby.
But, Miss Keene, your daughter could have turned to you.
No, that's just it. She couldn't. If it were true that there was another woman in his life, that he didn't love her, Jill valued the love that had once been theirs so highly that she didn't want Bob ever to know that their love had culminated in God's greatest gift, a baby.
Well, this all leaves me speechless. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just consult the other gentlemen of the grand jury. That's all I ask. Tell me whether you're going to make a blind, stupid mistake or whether...
Those are strong words, Miss Keene.
Perhaps they are, but they're just the way I feel about this. You know now what Jill's been through and what she's facing, and I'm not going to have her tortured anymore.
But, Miss Keene...
I asked you to consult your fellow jury members, Mr. Anderson. You can vote whether or not to indict her without moving from your chairs.
That's very true,
and that's just what I want you to do right now. I'm speaking not as Kitty Keene, but as a mother. I want to know, Jill wants to know, if just because she's been brave enough to acknowledge her mistake and try to do her bit to convict Ramone, her child has to be born in a prison cell.
Well, whatever you say, Miss Keene. I'll talk to the other members of the grand jury.
Oh, Mother. Mother, you were wonderful. Oh, if Father could only have seen you. Oh, he did, sweetheart. He was with me every minute. Do you feel all right?
Well, yes and no. One minute I think I do, and the next I'm not so sure.
I'll just sit tight, little sweetheart. Bob should be back with Dr. Amber in a minute.
Are they going to indict me, Mother?
We'll know in just a moment, because here comes Mr. Anderson back again. Oh, please, God.
Make them know that I'm innocent. Don't let them indict me. Please. For baby's sake.
Well, Miss Keene, I'm genuinely happy to be able to say that after your spirited defense and explanation, my fellow jurors and I concur that Mrs. Jones is morally and spiritually innocent. And furthermore, to indict her would not only be a waste of time and gross injustice to Mrs. Jones, yourself, and Lieutenant Jones, but also to the, we hope, young lieutenant as well.
You mean that, Mr. Anderson? They aren't going to indict me after all?
Of course not, Mrs. Jones. I'm only sorry that we've been so stupid as to have caused you the suffering that I know we have caused you.
Oh, that's all right. I've been foolish. I know I have.
Steady, honey.
Oh, I'm all right. I just feel out of pain. That's all. I guess it's just the excitement and the relief.
Well, all things considered, Mrs. Jones, you've been under quite a strain.
Strain? Oh, it's just like the world was lifted off my shoulders, Mr. Anderson. Mother.
Jill, what is it?
I guess I made a mistake on those dates. Get Pop. Get Dr. Amber. Get an ambulance. Quicker. I've got to get to the hospital.
So we leave Kitty Keene and Joe, just as they're about to speed to the hospital. We can't help wondering, will Kitty's grandchild be a boy or a girl? Be sure to listen Monday. And look, as I was saying before, give your spring-cleaned household the final perfect touch by washing all your dishes with Draft. Remember, then you won't have to dry those innumerable plates and platters and cups and glasses, because Draft cannot form hard water scum to spot or streak them. Just a hot rinse, and they'll dry shiny, sparkling clean without toweling. Best of all, Draft is economical. It actually makes 5 times more suds than any soap in hardest water. Why, tests in the Procter & Gamble laboratories show that by actual weight, you need less than half as much Draft to wash dishes as the packaged soaps you may have been using. So finish off your spring house cleaning with Draft-washed dishes. Buy Draft, D-R-E-F-T, today. Be sure to tune in at this same time Monday for Kitty Keene. And tell your friends to tune in, too. I wonder, will Jill's child be a boy or a girl? Be sure to be there Monday to pace a hospital corridor with the proud young father, Bob. And until then, this is Jack Brinkley saying goodbye.
This program has come to you by special electrical transcription. The next episode of Kitty Keene Incorporated will come to you Monday at this same time. This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.